Welcome to Muscles and Magic the Gathering. My name is Bobby Maximus. I am the Muscles. These cards, Magic the Gathering, something that's been a massive passion of mine for 31 years. I started in 1994. I started with the Unlimited set. But today, the background, the backstory, it doesn't matter. We want to get right down to business. You are here because you love Avatar: The Last Airbender, one of the greatest Universes Beyond sets of all time. You are here because you love equipment decks. You are here specifically because you want to know cards. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to give you 15 of these cards that's going to take your Sokka and Suki deck to the next level. And that's where we're going to start. We're going to start with our commander today, Sokka and Suki, one of the best commanders from the new Avatar set, and a commander that I definitely want to build. So Sokka and Suki, it costs 3 mana. It costs a blue, a red, and a white. And you already know that I'm a huge fan of low casting cost commanders. That's an important part of building a commander deck. It's a 3/3 legendary creature. It's a human warrior ally. And whenever Sokka and Suki or another ally you control enters, attach up to 1 target equipment you control to that creature. Whenever an equipment you control enters, create a 1/1 white ally creature token. So there's going to be a couple of things I'm going to talk about. Now, fair warning, in this deck, I'm not going to talk about the blue cards. For the blue component of this deck, I want you to include a bunch of counter spells, a bunch of control pieces. That's going to be your job with blue. With the red and the white, and also you're going to add some artifacts because you're going to need some equipment. We're going to need great, heavy-handed, hard-hitting pieces of equipment. We're going to want some great tutors that are going to feature equipment capabilities, if you will, or equipment support. And we're definitely going to want some token generators because we're going to want to make a ton of these ally creature tokens. So with that in mind, let's go over these 15 cards. Get your notepad ready, get your screenshot fingers ready. You are not going to want to miss any of this information. So the first category that I want to cover off token generators. You're going to want to make as many of these allied creature tokens as possible. And here's the deal. This deck is going to be loaded with equipment. And every time a piece of equipment comes in, you're going to make one of these 1/1 white allied creature tokens. So we are going to not want to make one allied creature token. We're going to make all the allied creature tokens. So the first card up that we're going to look at is Mondric Glory Dominus. If one or more tokens would be created under your control, twice that many of those tokens are created instead. And then if you sacrifice 2 other artifacts or creatures, put an indestructible counter on Mondric Glory Dominus. I really like this feature because once it's indestructible, it's super hard to get rid of, and it's one of the better token generators, not named Anointed Procession, all right? The second card that we are going to look at is Ojurtak Deepest Foundation. It's got Vigilance, and if 1 or more creature tokens would be created under your control, 3 times that many of those tokens are created instead. So you're going to triple your ally tokens. When Ojurtak dies, return it to the battlefield tapped and transformed under its owner's control. And what does it turn into? It turns into the Temple of Civilization. It's a land. It's going to add a white mana to your mana pool. Then if you pay 3 mana, one of them being white, you transform Temple of Civilization. Activate if you attack with 3 or more creatures this turn and only as a sorcery. That's going to be pretty easy to do. So you're going to make sure that Ojurtak is a constant source of token generation for you. Now, I don't have Anointed Procession out today because everybody knows what it is, but I'm going to show you the best budget version of that possible. Now, this card, Renewed Solidarity, I'm actually going to look up the price for you right now because it truly is a budget Anointed Procession. You can get this for $6.49 versus the Anointed Procession, which, I mean, that's a really, really, really expensive card. And Renewed Solidarity is certainly budget compared to Ojurtak and Mondric. Mondric right now, this version of Mondric goes for $54. Ojurtak goes for $37. So Renewed Solidarity is going to be your best friend. As this enchantment enters, choose a creature type. Here is the kicker with Renewed Solidarity. You've got to make sure it's in some type of kinfolk or tribal type deck. Creatures you control of the chosen type get +1/+0 So it's going to act as a creature anthem. And obviously, we're going to choose allies. And then at the beginning of your end step, for each token you control of the chosen type that entered this turn, create a token that's a copy of it. I use this card all the time. If I have a Kinfolk or Tribal deck, this is my go-to token generator. It really, really works, and it is budget friendly. So those are your token generators. I mean, honestly, if I'm building this deck, I'm probably going to put all 4 of the big ones in, the Mondrak, the Ojatok, the Renewed Solidarity, and the Anointed Procession. I like a little bit of redundancy in my commander deck. Obviously, there is a certain element of luck of the draw when you're playing commander. So the more of these cards, the better. And the more ally tokens I get, the better. The next category that I have to mention, because you know I am absolutely big on them. I wish I could pick up the cards right, but I have big, strong, clumsy meathead hands. We are going to look at tutors. I've said it before. I've said it again. Tutoring is a massively important part of building a competitive commander deck. So here's one of my favorite tutors when it comes to equipment, the Steel Shaper's Gift. It only costs 1 mana. You search your library for an equipment card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. The goal with Sokka and Suki is to get as many equipment cards as possible, put them on the battlefield, so we're going to need a Steel Shaper's Gift. And open the Armory. Another great tutor, and we have a Universes Beyond version here, an actual secret layer one. Search your library for an aura or equipment card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Not quite as good as the Steel Shaper's Gift. It's got a little bit higher of a casting cost, but still a low casting cost overall and one of the better equipment tutors. So you're going to have some equipment tutors in here. Of course, you're going to have an Enlightened tutor. I would have shown it up, but everybody knows what it is, so it didn't make my 15 cards. The next category we're going to look at, we want some equipment support, if you will. So I've got 5 great creatures for you. And the first one up, and I'm actually going to pull it up here because I have a special version of this card. Now, I do want you to know, if you're really into building red and white equipment decks, please go look at my weapons deck, Kata Nakaji no Sato. If you know the reference, we can be best friends. Hopefully that will very, very soon be a Universes Beyond. But that is my official equipment deck. I'll put a link to it in the show notes. But I have this card in there. And it's a very beautiful Japanese printed version of this. It is Cloud Midgar Mercenary. And Cloud, when Cloud enters, search your library for an equipment card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle so it acts as tutor. Then as long as Cloud is equipped, if an ability of Cloud or an equipment attached to it triggers, that ability triggers an additional time. It's an absolutely bonkers card. If you're building an equipment deck, you need a Cloud. Not to be outdone, SRAM, Senior Edificer, and I have Fury and Swordmaster here. It's a Final Fantasy's version. I love the Universes Beyond set. To me, the best 3 of all time, in no particular order, Lord of the Rings, Final Fantasy, and now Avatar. I am super psyched for this Avatar set. But whenever you cast an aura, equipment, or vehicle spell, draw a card. I don't know if I went through my whole thing earlier, but the 3 most important aspects of building a powerful commander deck, and you've heard this before if you're a fan of the channel: card draw, tutoring, and mana ramp. We got the tutors in this deck. Now we have the card draw. We're going to be casting a ton of equipment, so we're going to get a ton of card draw, which means more equipment, which means more of these white allies, which means more winning and more fun. So get yourself a SRAM. Trust me, it's also a really low casting cost. Pure Steel Paladin. Whenever an equipment enters the battlefield under your control, you may draw a card, so more card draw. An equipment you control have equip 0 as long as you control 3 or more artifacts. So a lot of your equipment is going to be, you're going to be able to equip it for free. So this is going to be a great card. In an equipment deck, you absolutely need a Pure Steel Paladin. Stoneforge Mystic, another tutor type card. When Stoneforge Mystic enters the battlefield, you may search your library for an equipment card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle your library. You pay a bit of mana, you may put an equipment card from your hand onto the battlefield. so massive. You double stack that in Cloud. Trust me, this deck is going to be rolling. And the final one, Jor Kadeen, First Gold Warden. It has Trample. Whenever Jor Kadeen, First Gold Warden, attacks, it gets +X until the end of the turn, where X is the number of equipped creatures you control. We're going to have a lot of those because we're going to load this deck with equipment. Then, if Jor Kadeen's power is 4 or greater, draw a card. So more card draw. You can see that theme in all my decks. Card draw, card draw, card draw, card draw, card draw, card draw, card draw. So this is going to be great. And again, we're going to have a lot of equipment in this deck. If I was to compare this deck to my weapons deck, just looking at it right now, I got pulled up on the side screen. I've got 26 artifacts in that deck. And if I count, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. I've got 21 pieces of equipment in it. So you're going to load your deck with equipment. And again, you want that list, go to the show notes. It is waiting there for you. Speaking of equipment, the last 5 cards we are going to talk about are equipment cards. And in my opinion, they're 5 of the best in the game. The first one, and there's no surprise here, we have Cloud here, so we have to have this, but the Buster Sword, one of the best cards, if not the best card from the Final Fantasy set. Equipped creature gets +3/+2. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Then you may cast a spell from your hand with mana value less than or equal to that damage without paying its mana cost. Absolutely massive, massive card and a great way to cheat equipment onto the battlefield, if you will. This card's not inexpensive. Like, just the base version of this is $57. So that tells you a little something about how insane the Buster Sword is. Another Universes Beyond from one of the greatest sets of all time, Lord of the Rings, the Morgul Knife or the Shadow Spear. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has Trample and Lifelink. You pay 1, permanents your opponent's control lose hexproof and indestructible until the end of turn. You have no idea. I mean, maybe you do, but I'm saying you have no idea how valuable that is in a game of Commander. It prevents your opponents from engaging in all kinds of shenanigans and nonsense. Get rid of their hexproof, get rid of their indestructible at instant speed. So that card, I'm building an equipment deck. In fact, I wish I had 1 million of those for every deck I had. That's honestly how valuable it is, and it's a super low casting cost. Colossus Hammer. It's Gaia's Dark Hammer here. It's the Secret Lair Final Fantasy version, but equipped creature gets +10/+10 and loses flying. Now, one of the drawbacks to this cards is it is equipped 8. However, look at Sokka. Whenever Sokka or Suki or another ally you control enters, and we're going to have a lot of allies entering, attach up to 1 target equipment you control to that creature, so you're going to cheat the equip cost. So Colossus Hammer, one of the best pieces of equipment you can have in this deck. Next up, in my opinion, the 2 greatest swords of all time. And you know what this one is going to be, all right? But we're going to cover this one off first. This is the second best sword of all time, the Sword of Fire and Ice. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has protection from red and blue. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, Sword of Fire and Ice deals 2 damage to any target, and you draw a card. So again, that card draw feature. And now the GOAT, greatest of all time of swords, without a doubt, the Sword of Feast and Famine. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has protection from black and from green. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, that player discards a card and you untap all the lands you control. That's an absolutely massive ability in Commander. So the Sword of Feast and Famine, the greatest sword of all time. So to review, we have Renewed Solidarity, we have Odratak, we have Mondrak, we have our token doublers, all right, and triplers. We have a couple of tutors. We have Open the Armory, and we have Steel Shaper's Gift. We have some incredible equipment-based creatures. We have Jor Kadeen, we have Stoneforge Mystic, we have the Pure Steel Paladin, we have Furion Sword Master, which is SRAM Senior Edificer, and we have Cloud Midgar Mercenary. And then we have our pieces of equipment, 5 of the best ones you can get. We have the Shadow Spear. You need a Colossus Hammer for this deck, the way it works. Fire and Ice. We have the Sword of Feast and Famine. And then we have the Buster Sword. 15 incredible cards for your Sokka and Suki deck. Again, you have these 15 cards. For the blue component, you fill it up with a bunch of counter spells and control-type spells. You include some other pieces of equipment. I mean, obviously, you're going to want a Swiftfoot Boots. You're going to want a Lightning Greaves, maybe a Sword of Forge and Frontier, maybe a Sword of Once and Future, maybe the Sword of War and Peace, maybe the Sword of Wealth and Power, maybe a Reaver Cleaver. Like, you load this up, the Excalibur Sword of Eden is going to be a great card in this deck. It's got a massive casting cost, but it's going to be reduced by the amount of historic periods you have. So it's pretty much going to come out for free. You build a deck like this, you are going to be rocking and rolling with Sokka and Suki. So again, thank you for tuning in to Muscles and Magic the Gathering, but I have a couple of asks. 1, subscribe. Smash that like button. I'm trying to make this the biggest and best Magic the Gathering channel in the multiverse, and I could use your help. It's all things positive when it comes to Magic the Gathering. 2nd, I really want to build a Sokka and Suki deck, all right? I want deck suggestions. If there's cards that I've missed, if there's cards that you think are a must-add that have really worked for you, I would love to hear from you. I've gotten so much information from the community. I've adjusted my decks. Like, so many times I put these deck videos up. Someone says, hey, what about this card? And honestly, I forgot about it. Like, what are there now? Like 30,000 plus Magic cards in the universe? Like, I forget about certain cards. And so people make their recommendations. And I'm like, I have that card. I'm going to use it. And it really helps me and brings me a lot of joy. So again, subscribe, give me your recommendations, and tune in for more episodes of Muscles and Magic the Gathering.